in this example, we'll use a real-life context to find the domain and range using a graph. And we're going to state the domain and range both in words and in interval and set builder notation. So in this example, we're given a population of bees happily residing in someone's backyard. Let B of t be the size of the bee population in thousands, t months after April 1st, 2012, which is shown in figure 1. So we're going to take this graph and we need to write in words what the domain is and what the range is. Okay, so the domain is the set of all x values, right? Or in our case, t values, since we have b of t. And so we're looking on the horizontal axes, and we see that t represents the months after April 1st, 2012. We also see that the x values on the graph exist from 0 to 9, roughly, right, on the horizontal axis. So we're looking here. How far does the graph go? So it goes from the vertical axes all the way up to 9 there. So how do we want to state that in words? Okay, well, it represents a number of months after April 1st. So the domain would be the interval from 0 to 9 months after April 1st, 2012. And just out of curiosity, what would 9 months later be, right? So with April, we've got May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So now let's look at the range, okay? So we're on the domain, we were looking for the lowest to the highest x value, or in our case, t value in this example. And then for the range, we're looking at the y value, right? So what is the interval on the vertical axis that we're looking at? So the lowest y value that we have here is 0. And the highest y value is 15, right? Now, what does that 15 represent? See, it's right up here. So 3, 15 would be the point there. Okay, so 15, that represents thousands of bees, right? So for the range, I could say that we have the interval from 0 to 15,000 bees in the backyard. All right, so I referred to the domain and range as intervals, right? Because that's kind of how I think about it, right? Like you've got from the lowest x, or in our case t value here, to the highest t value for the domain, and then the lowest y value to the highest y value for the range. So in interval notation, the domain would be 0 to 9 months. And so we're going to list it as an interval from 0 to 9 months. And notice I'm using a closed bracket. So the square bracket means that we're including the endpoint. So we're including 0 and we're including 9. And the range would be from 0 to 15, right? Now, I said 15,000 bees when I listed it in words because I wanted to bring in the context of that, right? In set builder notation, the domain would be the set of all, we usually say the set of all x, but our input variable is t. So I'm going to say the set of all t such that, this is the such that bar, such that 0 is less than or equal to t is less than or equal to 9, right? So this is a compound inequality. It means that t is both bigger than 0 and less than 9, right? And we're including everything on that interval. And I should say less than or equal to because we're including the endpoints there, okay? And then the range would be the set of all y such that 0 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 15.